Hello, everybody. It's Jamie, and it is time for day one of what I am calling what am I calling it? I have to think about it now. It is the Creative Business Owner Basics class. So there are going to be 6 sessions of the class. So it's going to be at 3 o'clock every day now through Sunday. So today is day one, and if you have registered, so that's my first question, have you registered for the class yet? If you go to the event here on Creations of Studio 39, you can register for the event, and then you will get notifications. And actually, I did not realize this is a feature of Facebook. When you register a class, you get put into kind of a private little chat with me. So there's already people who have registered. I see Jet is saying that she is so excited, and Loretta is here. I know Loretta was asking if it was if you had to register and if there was a payment. So these 6 classes, this series is completely free because it has been my way. It'll be my way to share some information about questions that I keep getting private messages, keep getting people reaching out. Let me pick your brain, all of those kinds of things. And that honestly takes up a lot of my time to do one-on-one like that. So I just thought that I would do a series and be able to present the information in a way that you can watch the videos, come back to the videos, and that kind of thing. So hey, I see Heather popping on. Welcome. Christy's on. I see Adrian popping on. So awesome. So also, I see Sandy popping on here too. Also, you can get a text message that will have the link directly to my page on Creations of Studio 39 so that you can show up and easily get it from a text message, so you can do that. But I have a question for you before we get started, and I am going to be sharing some information today. I'm going to try to keep the videos about 25 to 30 minutes, so they aren't going to be long. I did plan on doing a little bit of artwork today, but technology, circumstances, different things did not allow me to do that using StreamYard and on and on. But I will be doing some artwork on some of the other days too. But day one, I want to talk to you about community. And I just have a question for you. If you think right now that you have a good community in whatever way you want that to mean, because I'm going to go through kind of some things about community, but I just kind of want to know, you can answer. Oh, I see Tracy popping on here. Awesome. Do you feel like you have a good community around you? Do you feel like you have a good community of people that support you? Do you feel like you have a good community of people? And I say community for a specific reason, because I'm going to share with you probably some parts of my story, even if you've been following me for a year, 2 years, that you might not know, because some of them happened before I started my business. So I'm going to share a little bit about community and what that's meant to me and how that can affect your business. Because I'm guessing that you showed up here today because you were interested in this Creative Business Owner Basics. Like, what does that mean? If you showed up today maybe thinking, well, I've been watching Jamie and I've seen what she's done over the past couple of years, I want to know what she's doing. You might have showed up for that reason. And you can type over there in the chat, down in the chat, what reason. I know I'm getting a lot in the Messenger little chat room, why people are showing up. Oh, I see Judith here. Oh, and Gloria. Oh, there's Mel showing up. Hey, Julie. So tell me, what's the reason that you showed up today? Was it just because you were curious? Because here Jamie is, usually doing some art, doing something creative, and all of a sudden she's showing up in a different spot than I usually see her, and she's not doing any art. So maybe you saw my subscription box video yesterday And I talked about that I was going to start this, and you were like, "Oh, wait a second, this is a little bit different than what I normally do." And it is. It is a little bit different. But let me tell you a little bit about my story and why this is something that I'm starting today. Like why this series, how this came about. And I think as you start to hear a little bit more of my story, you'll understand not only was I getting the messages and the questions and things like that, but how it all came about. So I want to go back a little bit before I started my business. I started my business in January of 2020. So I want to take you back actually to when it was that I got into community. I won't go like all the way back, but I'm just going to go back to a spot. So in July of 2016, I decided to join a community, a network marketing community of people that were all kind of headed towards a similar goal in helping people be healthier. So I was in this network marketing and I decided to step up and into this community. And that community really, if I think about, was the starting point of what made me realize that I needed community. Like, tell me, like, sometimes you get to that point where you know, like you need to be around people who are going towards something and dreaming towards something and all moving towards big goals. And you need to get around those people. So I see all kinds of people answering, and I will definitely come back to all of your comments here that you are making. I don't know how to get Julie's. Maybe there we go. I don't use StreamYard as often, so to know all of the details. So in July of 2016, I got into this community and I realized that all of them were trying to better themselves. They were actively and intentionally trying to better themselves. And I was craving that. I really needed that because at that time I was in a job that wasn't doing that for me. And getting into this community of these people who were all trying to better themselves, it became something that I showed up to all the team meetings. I showed up to all of the events that they were doing and getting around that community to the point where I got to travel with this community. Like, tell me in the comments there, and you can go ahead and type in if travel's on like your dream list, if it's on your vision board, if it's on your bucket list to travel. I've always wanted to travel. And I've gotten opportunities to travel a few places, but once I got into this community, there was opportunity every single summer to travel to the conference that they had. So the first summer, which would have been 2017, after it came around again, I was in this community. The first summer, I got to go to New Orleans. Tell me if you've ever been to New Orleans, because it was quite an experience. I had never been there before. I had never met up with some of these people in this community in person before. It was an experience, and it was a time when I got to meet in person these people that I had. Loretta says she loves to travel. I know that she loves to travel. So I got around these people that I had been watching, and I had been, and here I am, like just like starry-eyed, right? Because I'm around these people in this community. But I don't know if this is you. You can tell me in the comments here. Tell me if you were an introvert or an extrovert, because and tell me, which do you think I am? Like, I'm really curious. If you've been following me for a little while, which do you think that I am? Do you think that I'm an introvert? Do you think that I'm an extrovert? And I will watch here for a second in the comments to find out. Because it took me a little while to really realize which one I was. I kind of knew, but once I really started understanding a little bit more about introvert and extrovert and kind of like what gives them energy. Um, so let's see. Adrian says introvert. Oh, like Heather says both at times. I can be both. So um, let's see. Adrian, are you saying that extrovert for me? Lynn says Sofro. So Loretta says intro. Oh, good. I see a lot of you answering. Oh, good, Terry. Did you have a problem with StreamYard? Like letting I can see all of your names, by the way, so that's good. So I guess I've always realized that I'm more of an introvert than I thought that I was. And I always wanted to be extroverted. Like, isn't that the case? Like sometimes you want to be what you're not, right? So what I realized is I love those kind of events and I love being around people and I love the all of that excitement and that energy. But for me, I need that time to like process a little bit. So I love the community, but I know for myself I need to take the time to kind of process that a little bit. So I got around that community I chose, and the reason that I'm going all the way back to here because I did the next summer. I got to travel to Indianapolis, and that was super fun. So in 2018 came or 2019, I don't know. I got to go to Indianapolis twice, so maybe I'm not counting one in there. So when I came back the second or third trip for this annual conference that they would do, I was already like in this community. I had met up with some of these people in person. I had a mentor where I had been to her house and there was a retreat that we had there. So I was involved in this community. And that summer that I came back, it was 2019, came back, my mentor decided she was going to have this 10-year anniversary get together and she was going to have it at a beach house in Destin. And it was beautiful. And she started sharing pictures. And she shared a picture that had a swim up bar. And I did not even know at the time that a swim up bar was something that I wanted in my life. But I realized that it was. And I saw that picture. And visual pictures are very, very motivating to me. If I can find a picture of it, I have my vision board up here, and you can see like pictures and words and the visual of it. Our vision is like our strongest sense. We use it more really than we do of any of our other senses. So I saw this picture in the swim up bar, and I really wanted to be at that swim up bar. And my mentor said that in order to be at the swim up bar, you have an opportunity to be there, and I'm going to invite you if. There's always an if for the big things, right? She said, I'm going to form this group, and there's going to be challenges. There's going to be things that you have to do. You have to do the work. And if you meet this requirement to advance, it was to advance to another level in this network marketing community in my business at the time. She said, if you can meet that, then I'll send you an invitation. You'll get invited to be my guest at this beach house. So my friend and I, who had come back from the summer conference, this was like August, we decided that we were going to go ahead and get in this group because we wanted to be around the people who were moving towards that goal. We neither one even thought that we were one of the ones who would make that goal, right? We went through, we did all the challenges, we participated, we were in the community, we were commenting, we were engaged, we were doing the challenges, we were doing all of that. And neither one of us advanced and made that rank that we needed to get that invitation. But we were still caught up in that community, and we were around that community, and we got something from that group. So we were kind of disappointed, not really surprised. But then the mentor did something. She offered a wild card. She offered a wild card spot, and she said that if you fill out this application and tell me why you want to be at this retreat, I'm going to choose people based on their answers on this wild card application to go on the retreat. And I went ahead and filled it out because I wanted to be at the beach house with the swim up bar. So I went ahead and filled it out. And a few days later, she chose some wild card people, and I wasn't one of the wild card people. So I went ahead and, I was kind of still participating in the community, doing the things. And one day I was writing down some goals. Tell me if you are a person. Oh, I see Susan popping on. So, Linda said, what event? It was a network marketing event for a company that I was involved with a couple of years ago before I started my business. But it was the first time really that I understood and saw the value in community. And because that's day one, that's what we're talking about today is community. And I promise this will all come together here about community and how it relates to your creative business and how it relates to mine now. And I am going to have some challenges for you at the end. And I didn't tell you at the beginning, but I have some prizes during this week if you put in the work and participate in the challenges. So I went ahead one day and I was writing down goals. Tell me if you're like a goals person. Do you write down goals? Do you do like a vision board like I did this one? Do you do like daily goals? Like tell me kind of like what you do with your goals if you write those down. Because I had already started seeing and getting evidence of writing down things as if they've already happened. Like tell me if you've ever heard that, like if you write things down as if they've already happened, it's kind of like your brain tries to get those things to happen for you. It tries to solve those things for you. So it starts to have you notice things. It starts to attract things. It just starts to make things happen by writing it down. So Mel says she writes things down. Tracy, yes, definitely writes things down. So Jet, definite list maker. Heather has a vision board. Awesome. So you guys understand the importance of writing things down. So here's what I wrote down this day. This day after she had already invited the people who had made this rank, after my mentor had already sent out the wild cards, I wrote down that I was at that beach house, at that swim up bar, that I was going to be there in September. This was only like weeks away. I was going to be there in September. And do you know, I wrote that down at noon that day. And at 10:30 that night, my mentor sent me a message and invited me to go to Destin, to the beach house with the swim up bar. If you are registered for the event and you are in the chat message, I will find the picture where I'm sitting at the swim up bar in Destin, where I got to be in community with 29 other people. That it was probably one of the most memorable weekends that I've ever had. The most powerful things because I was in that community surrounded by those people. So fast forward to when I started my business, and I made the decision to get into a community of people with a mentor that would show me what to do in my business. And a lot of you I've met because of that group, because I was in that community. And that community has been so important to me over the past couple of years to be in that group, to be with those people, surrounded by those people. So I have a question for you. How important is community to you? How important is it for you to be around people? Do you feel like, nah, I can just do it myself. I can just figure out all of the things that there is to do with my business by myself? Are you the kind of person that says, yes, I understand the value of having community and having people around me, but I'm just gonna choose the people that I want to be around, and I'm just gonna like stay right here, kind of safe in the people that I know, and they're just gonna support me, and that'll be fine. Or are you the kind of person that realizes that in order to make changes, in order to see changes happen, you have to take that step. You've got to take that step, that leap of faith, a lot of people call it, right? Because faith is knowing that you need to take the step, but you can't see the staircase, right? Knowing that you have to take that step forward, you've got to take that leap, but you don't even know exactly where. And that moment when I joined that community, I knew that was what I needed. And it was a pretty, low threshold of getting into the community on a monthly basis. But it wasn't long afterwards, because I was in that community, that I took a big leap of faith. And I don't know that I can really tell you exactly what it was that told me that I needed to do that. I don't know exactly what it was that allowed me to talk with my husband and for us to decide that was what I was going to do. But a couple of months after I got into that community, I chose to make this big leap to do something that was so far out of my comfort zone, that was pretty far out of our financial means to do. But I just knew, like I knew in my whole being that I needed to be there. And we decided that I would take this course and surround myself again with this community of people. And that decision to do that, I will just tell you, that was almost 2 years ago. Last year, that decision, seeing it as an investment, I have now more than, I'm not very good at math. So I probably won't talk to you a lot about numbers, because I track things, but I'm not really good with like percentages and numbers and things like that. But I have made up for that investment 15-fold. So would you invest in something for $10 if you knew that you were going to make whatever 15 times that is? $150? I don't. Yeah. But the thing is, you don't know sometimes. You don't know how you can't see exactly. So you have to have this belief that you can make those things happen. And one of them was me writing things down so that my brain starts to like look for things to have those things attracted to me. So when all of that was happening, that was when I started my subscription box. So if you saw my video yesterday, I talked about my subscription box and how that all started. Well, that all started at the time that I took that big leap to take that course, to invest in myself, to invest in the skills that I knew that I needed to learn to be able to take that leap, right? To get me to that next level, to get me to the place that I wanted to be, that I consider success. And that's different for everybody. So I took that leap and I got in that community. And what happened was last year I realized how I could get that return on my investment. And that was when all of this started to come about, that people were asking me questions. I was in this community where I could see that other people were having a hard time kind of grasping things. Like, tell me if this is you. Like, you see other people succeeding and they make it look so easy. You see other people making sales. You see other people getting a big following. You see other people like reaching all of their dreams, and they make it look so easy. And I don't even remember where I was going with that now. So you see other people doing this and having this success, and because I was saying that it's different for everybody. So whatever your idea of success is, you start noticing people that have that, and you think, well, how can I do that? What, some of you may have showed up here because you see that what it is that I've done in the past 2 years, you see that as success and you want that. So you show up here today wondering, well, she must have the answers. She must have the techniques, the skills, the tricks. There must be tricks, because people were asking me how it was that I was doing what I was doing. How are you growing your following? How are you getting followers? How are you getting people to like your page? How are you doing all of these things? How are you getting new subscribers? How are you getting people into your community? And I think when people are asking me those questions, one of the things that they're not seeing is all of the behind the scenes, all of the things that I'm doing in the background. And next week, I'm going to be opening up enrollment for a course that I'm developing. And I'm going to use the term birthing because this is a brand new course. It is, it's I don't know what the right word. It's like giving birth, honestly, because there's like a lot of growing pains. But I know, because of the past 2 years and the time and the effort that I've put into learning the things about building a community, those are some of the things that people have been asking me about, that I'm developing this course for. So I want to give you, before I'm at about 30 minutes right now. So I want to give you a quick challenge, because it'll be a quick win for you. Because here's the thing, and you can like write this down if you're taking notes, and you could write it down in the chat there and type it if you want. You've probably been told that you need to get followers. You need to get followers. You need to get likes on your business page. Tell me in the comments if you have a business page. I would guess that most of you showing up here have a business page, but I'm just curious if you do for sure. But tell me if you've been told, if you've heard that you need to get followers. Like, you've actually heard people use those words. Because, and I may have even said those words, but my brain knows that that's not the right terminology to be successful. So I see, we don't see the process, just the result. You're right. So we only see what it is, right? So you're not seeing like some of the behind the scenes. That's very true. So Christy said that she has a page. Loretta says it is like giving birth. So Christy says that she's definitely heard that. So Heather says, yes, you've heard that you need to get followers. Do you know why that's going to set you up for failure? It's going to set you up for failure because that's not what you want to do. That's not what you want to do to build your business and to build a community. Do you know what you need to do? You need to make connections. So you can type that up. Somebody type that in the chat. You need to make connections. You need to make connections, not get followers. And here's what I mean by that. And this is something that I've shared on those one-on-ones that I've told you that I've had with other people. I believe in order to have people in your community, in your business, that will know, like, and trust you enough to give you money, right? So they need to get to know you. They need to trust you. They know you, they like you, and then they trust you, which means that they will offer you money in return for the value of information, of a transformation, of those things that will help them. I believe that you need to make connections. So I'm going to end today with a challenge. Your challenge today is to make 2 new connections before tomorrow's live at 3:00. To make 2 new connections. That could be anywhere. That could be at the grocery store. You're in line with somebody, you make a connection. That could be online. It could be inside of a new group. It could be to make 2 new connections. Now, what do I mean by connections? You have to connect with somebody. You can't just like say hi to them. That's not a connection. You have to connect with them in some way to start a relationship. You have to connect with them in some way to start a relationship. Could that be in the grocery store that you connect because the person in front of you buys a can of pumpkin? Yes, it is March and I am still buying pumpkin because I am a pumpkin spice fanatic. Like I love pumpkin spice in October. I love pumpkin spice pie. I love pumpkin, just about everything. So it could be a connection with another mom on your kid's sports team, and you show up at a baseball game and you're talking and you have this connection, and you have this connection that you make about, something related to the baseball game. And, it could be a connection that you are shopping and you see a cute purse that somebody has and you make a connection with them, and all of a sudden you start chatting. Make 2 new connections today. Make 2 new connections with somebody, because making connections is how you get followers. You have to make connections. So even if you are an introvert, you can still do this. We are wired for connections. We are wired to be in community, to be around other people. Yes, even if you're an introvert, we are wired that way to want to connect with other people. So just two new connections today before tomorrow. So at 3:00 tomorrow is going to be day 2. I hope that you show up for day 2. I am going to have some prizes. I will have that set up tomorrow. So you got to show back up tomorrow. You have to do the 2 new connections. And I have another, where I have my notes over here. Oh, so I want you in the video here, in the comments, I want you to tell me something today that was a takeaway for you, a revelation for you. Was it about that you should not get followers? What was it that you took away from listening today about community that maybe made your mind switch a little bit to being grateful for the community that you have, being grateful for the people that are around you? What is something today that you are going to take away from watching this 36 minutes now here? What is something that you're going to take away? So go ahead and put that in the comments there. If you have registered for the class, you can go into that chat and I want you to just tell me the 2 names of the people that you connected with. So if you put a takeaway here, and if you are in the chat and put your 2 new connections before 3 o'clock tomorrow, 3 o'clock Eastern, I'm going live again. That's how you will be in the running for the prize that I'll have for tomorrow. So I've had some different things going on the past couple of days. So I have a prize. I don't know exactly what the prize is. It will be of value to you. But I've had a lot of different things going on today. I actually, before I got on the video here, made the decision to get in community again. And in September, I'm going to be traveling to some place that I've never been before. So I'll tell you a little bit more about that tomorrow. So show back up tomorrow, 3 o'clock. And tomorrow is going to be about rest. And I know that you are thinking, what in the world does that have to do with my creative business? Well, you got to show up tomorrow at 3 o'clock to be able to find out what rest has to be, because you've probably been told that you need to work, not rest, right? So until tomorrow at 3 o'clock, I want you to remember something. And I'm going to repeat this to you every single day so that you will remember it. I have it written down here so that I can remember it. I want you to remember that you get to decide that you can create the life you love because you can. Let me repeat it one more time. You get to decide that you can create the life you love because you can. So I want you to remember that, and I will see you back at 3 o'clock tomorrow. Bye, everybody.